What's up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to get a little bit more in depth into some ideas for what the private matches in the finals could become in the future. Kind of like what game modes would be cool, what features and whatnot. So if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, maybe consider subscribing. I try to release one video a week, so hopefully you guys enjoy this one. So I know I mentioned during my last video how I think the future of this game is really dependent on how they flesh out the private matches. And I'm going to double down on this video because I really truly believe that the only way that we can see a big growth in this game, or people coming back to this game or staying at this game, is about allowing players to be able to kind of create their own fun arenas to be able to have fun with their friends. I mean, this goes back to like Halo Forge or even some Overwatch game modes that allow players to be able to have all kinds of fun, and it's what kind of keeps them coming back, right? The core game of the finals is really awesome and allows for kind of a lot of creativity just on its own. Now imagine if we were given the tools to be able to actually adjust the game modes and adjust the restrictions and rules and everything to be able to really have as much fun as we want with it. I think one thing that separates the finals from a lot of other first-person shooters not only is the mobility, but also the class system as well as the destruction system. Now a lot of those elements have been in other games, but I don't think every single game does it as good as the finals does in a kind of a more concise package. And so because of this, I think it has a great foundation to build off of. Now if we were able to give the power back to the players in terms of private matches, I really think that we would see this game kind of take off into a different level. So let's take a look at the current state of the private matches. This is as of update 2.5.0, and currently right now the only things you're really able to affect are the game modes and the maps. And the game modes don't even include all the game modes, so for instance they don't include Power Shift. They have Quick Cash, Bank It, Solo Bank It, and Cash Out, but they don't have anything like Power Shift, and they also don't have anything like the ranked system or like the bracket system, the knockout rounds, which would be really nice to have in a private match. It also currently doesn't allow for any sort of team organization, so the only way that it creates teams is on first come first serve basis. So the first 3 people that join are going to be on a team, then the next 3, then the next 3, and so on. So there's no way to change teams, there's no way to move people around to teams, so you kind of have to time it up right, or if you want to do it random, then you just put out a code and everybody just joins in and you go from there. But currently there's no way to really change the teams or really change any of the features, and that's what we're going to get into. Now we've actually gone in and using the settings that we currently have in the current state of the private matches, my friends and I have gone in and actually made rule sets that we just essentially just agreed to because we can't change those settings in the game, and tried to come up with different game modes that we think would work best with the structure of the finals, right? You've got the 3 classes, you've got the different weapons, the different abilities and whatnot. So we were thinking, well, what are some good game modes that probably lend itself really well to something like this, especially if we had the abilities to change all these features. One of the game modes that I think would work very well and that we tried out and actually had some success to it, but definitely could use the ability to be able to change some of those rule sets, is the VIP game mode. Now you've seen something similar. I think it's like escort mode in certain games and whatnot. There's one like that in Call of Duty and maybe some other games. But the idea here is that you have one player who's the VIP, and he's the only one that you're trying to kill or that you can score points from if you eliminate that player from the other team. Now everybody's trying to eliminate each other's VIP. Everybody has one VIP on their team, and everybody's trying to eliminate each other's VIP. That's the only way you can score points. The other 2 teammates, right, are trying to protect the VIP as well as eliminate the opposing VIP. Now this can work very, very well, and the way we tried it is by having the VIP be a medium. And the medium is going to run the riot shield, and it's going to be the only one that's able to heal, and the only one that's able to defib, obviously, or res, right, really fast. And the way that we did it is we had 2 heavies that were essentially guarding this VIP, as well as trying to kill the other VIP. Now, we kind of restricted the map on our own by just agreeing that we'd always meet in the middle of the map, and this was in Vegas. But imagine being able to set that restriction in the rules, and imagine being able to set certain restrictions, for instance, being able to revive only as the VIP. That adds another element to the game, right? or being able to limit certain abilities or only restrict the VIP to be able to have certain abilities or certain utility in his arsenal. That would just make this game amazing, right? I really think it would lend itself very, very well to that type of structure. Another game mode that we tried out, unfortunately, it was pretty unsuccessful because of the limitations of the current private matches, was zombie mode or horde mode or infection. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's been a couple of different iterations in a lot of other games, but the idea here was that we had two heavies that were essentially the zombies or the infected, and they would come and try to eliminate the uninfected or the survivors of the rest of the map. Everybody was a heavy, everybody walked around with sledgehammers, and the survivors had goo guns, okay? And the idea here is that if you get eliminated, then you become an infected. Unfortunately, because of the restrictions, we weren't able to change loadouts, so the infected had a separate loadout with charge and slam and a couple of other things, and we unfortunately weren't able to switch over to loadout whenever we died, so that one was unsuccessful. But imagine being able to allow the changing of the rules in the settings so that it restricts people to certain loadouts and then allows you to switch loadout whenever you die. So right off the bat, one of the first things I would add is the ability to organize teams, to be able to switch teams, move people around into different teams if you're the party leader, for instance, or be able to switch teams in the middle of a game. So beyond being able to just organize and restructure teams, really I think to flesh out the rest of private matches would require us being able to adjust and change any setting. And that doesn't just mean the settings for the game modes or the maps, like changing the time of day and the variation of the map, as well as the weather, or changing the game mode itself by speeding up time or any of that kind of stuff. It's really comes down to changing the individual players themselves and their attributes. So HP, damage multipliers, maybe restricting guns or restricting abilities or changing abilities, the timing of abilities, maybe increasing or decreasing cooldowns of abilities, maybe adding more slots. For instance, you can equip like 3 frag grenades instead of only 1 slot for frag grenades. Just different things like that, right? So think about the implications that has and how much creativity you could have with essentially this blank canvas of creating the rule sets or changing the rule sets for any part of the attributes of any character. Other game modes that I've thought of but haven't really fleshed out, I guess, completely, and again, probably wouldn't work unless we had those abilities to change the rule sets, would be something like a hide and seek type of game. I thought that would be a really cool idea. You have a bunch of lights hiding throughout the map or certain areas of the map, and then be able to have a heavy go through and be able to find them just like a hide and seek type of game. Another one would be like a gun game type of game mode, where you progress through the guns of whatever class that you have as you get eliminations. There's so many other ones that we were thinking of, and if you think of any, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys might think of. That would be a fun game to be able to implement in private matches.